Hey everyone, I am Nathaniel Rufflejets, and this is Prime News. So the first story of the day we're going to talk about deals with user reviews of Nintendo Switch games on Nintendo.com. Now, you haven't been able to do this locally on your Switch, but there was, I believe it was a 3-day period. From what I was able to look up, I couldn't find any exact details beyond that. But Nintendo just magically removed the ability for user reviews for Switch games after adding it for a short period of time. And they did have an official statement on this that they sent to Polygon. So let's just read it. It says, Nintendo.com recently offered a trial customer review feature to let users share feedback about Nintendo Switch games on our website. The response has been positive, and Nintendo appreciates the time and effort that reviewers put into their thoughtful commentary on the games. Nintendo has removed this feature as we evaluate the future of the ratings functionality on Nintendo.com. We have no estimate on when an update will be provided on the status of this initiative, but we appreciate the enthusiasm shown for the trial. And what's interesting is that Nintendo has supported local user ratings in the past through the eShop. We've seen it on Miiverse and stuff like that with Wii U and 3DS. But Nintendo doesn't really have a current way for user reviews to be submitted on anything that they control. We obviously see user reviews on Metacritic and OpenCritic and stuff like that, but we don't really see user reviews in any place where all of the Nintendo fan base is. And Nintendo.com, admittedly, is not where most of the Switch users are going to discover if a game is worth buying in the first place. So I think that I don't know why Nintendo did a trial run on the website. I think they're working on a system that's going to launch with their Nintendo Online system that's going to include user reviews. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if it's just going to be through the eShop, but whatever the case may be, it might be tied to Nintendo.com. But why they opened it up on Nintendo.com, maybe they just wanted to test how it would work if instead of submitting your review through your Switch, you submit it through Nintendo.com. Maybe they're trying to test out a feature like that. I don't know, but I don't think anyone should really be that upset about it. I've seen some people saying, you know, Nintendo giveth and Nintendo taketh away, but come on, guys. We need to give credit where credit is due. Nintendo was clearly testing something, and let's just be patient and wait at least until the online system launches. I think Nintendo's got something in the works that's going to give us an even better system than what we saw briefly on Nintendo.com. So our second story we're going to talk about is actually kind of a non-story, and I wanted to talk about it because it made a lot of rounds today, and I had several people request I make an individual video about this, and I was actually going to make an individual video about this story until I realized that this isn't a story. So you guys might have seen this headline at sites like Nintendo Everything or My Nintendo News or even some bigger game forums or stuff like that. Like I've seen this on probably a couple dozen websites in the past 24 hours. And that is that Metroid Prime 4 is not being made by Bandai Namco. Instead is being made internally by Nintendo, and that Bandai Namco is just helping out with art assets and stuff like that. And this is obviously labeled as a rumor, but the thing is, it's not a rumor. It's nothing. So this all came from Michael Damiani on the Easy Allies podcast. Not the Easy Allies podcast, from Easy Allies. They have a Nintendo podcast called Friend Code. They do every other week. In their most recent episode, they spend like 5 minutes talking about Metroid Prime 4. And they go over the Bandai Namco rumors and the update to the rumors that was put out at Eurogamer, where originally the first rumor was that Bandai Namco Singapore was making Metroid Prime 4, and then Eurogamer did an update and said, well, that Bandai Namco Singapore was working on the game, but now they're working on a new game for Switch, and instead Bandai Namco in Japan is working on the game. And that's kind of where the rumor mill kind of sat for Metroid Prime 4 so far this year. But with this report coming out, it was led to believe, or at least I was led to believe, that Michael Damiani used some sources he had to tell us that no, Bandai Namco is just helping make the game that's being made internally. Instead, all Michael Damiani did was just give a factual statement about Nintendo's own statements on Metroid Prime 4. So Metroid Prime 4 was announced at last year's E3, and in an interview during E3, Nintendo simply stated that they were making a new team internally at Nintendo to make Metroid Prime 4, led up by the main guy behind Metroid. And that is all Nintendo has said about it, and that's all Michael Damiani said. This isn't new news. This isn't him using any sources he has. This isn't debunking any of the rumors about Bandai Namco, because that might have been the plan at E3 last year, and it might have shifted over to Bandai Namco leading the production. Here's the thing, like, this is what sucks about talking about rumors, is I think a lot of people are looking for any indication to say a rumor is incorrect, and I feel like they were using what Michael Damiani pointed out, which isn't new information, to say these rumors are incorrect. And I don't really want to dive too deep into Eurogamer's reporting on this, and if Bandai Namco is really working on Metroid Prime 4 or not. This is something we've talked about before. But what I do want to briefly touch on before we move on to our next news topic is this is kind of sort of why there is a mistrust in the video game sphere. I was reading several news articles that were treating this like this was like gospel and that this is new information. And it really baffled my mind reading how many commenters just bought into the headline of rumor. Bandai Namco is not making Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo's internal teams are. It's like, okay. That's literally the official statement from Nintendo from E3 last year. This is not new. It really hurts the trust between consumers and these outlets. And maybe it doesn't because the consumers just blindly believe, but labeled rumor or not, all Michael Damiani was doing was recapping what we know about the development of Metroid Prime 4. That is what we were told at the time. These are the new rumors. And then he went on to what he believed. And what he personally believes is that there is an internal team heading up Metroid Prime 4 and that Bandai Namco is merely assisting with the game. That is his opinion. He also states very clearly it is possible that Bandai Namco is the lead company on it and that Bandai Namco has made good games, and just because they've not made like a really highly successful FPS game doesn't mean they can't. So he's not even saying it's not possible. So I don't know where these headlines came from, but I'm disappointed. This is a day that I'm disappointed in many YouTubers, and I'm disappointed in many Nintendo news sites and stuff like that. It's almost as if they didn't bother to actually listen to what he said, and some fan just sent something in and it started the spiral effect. I don't know. It's weird. I'm sorry if someone else got you sucked into it. Glad it wasn't us. I'm glad I did the research, listened to the podcast, realized what was going on. And you know why I was going to listen to the podcast and why I listened into it? Because I was actually going to take the clip of what Michael Damiani said and put it in my news video about it. But, you know what? Here's what Michael Damiani said.
I don't know how true this is. I was told by two people who knew about this rumor too. They're like, when they got announced, they're like, oh, so that information's coming out. They were like, yeah, that's true at the time. I've since not spoken to either of these people. They were telling me that the thing is they were never the lead developer though. That Bandai Namco Singapore was known for asset studio for production, like the assets to support some of Bandai Namco's key releases, their biggest titles.
Because Nintendo has officially said that it was a Nintendo team, right?
So that's the other part, is that Kensuke Tanabe was said to be in charge of putting together an internal team, an internal studio within Nintendo would be helming this project. That was in the press release at E3 last year.
And there you have it. Apparently that means rumor. Bandai Namco's not making... jeez. Anyways. Again, this is information from 2016. It's not new news. Doesn't have anything to do with recent rumors. So, let's move on to the next story. Yesterday, there were some data miners who got into Super Mario Odyssey after the latest update. I waited to talk about this because I was waiting for the data mining to be confirmed. Right now, it was people just saying it happened. There wasn't any confirmation. Now the data mining has been confirmed, and we now know that there are 12 hats and new suits already in Super Mario Odyssey that are locked artificially, waiting for a future date. Now, the date is not currently in the code, so that's going to come from another update they're going to release in the future. But what I can tell you is what those hats and outfits are. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you don't want future spoilers for other content in Super Mario Odyssey, just don't listen to what I'm about to say. But here are the hats and costumes coming. There is going to be a batting helmet. It's specifically a right-hander's batting helmet in bright red, and then a baseball uniform to go with that. And it says, whether you play baseball or not, you've got to admit those pinstripes are snazzy. A conductor wig, and it's a wig that reminds one of the greatest and baldest conductors. And then a conductor outfit, an outfit designed for the tiny part of all of us that wants to wave a stick at musicians. A racing helmet is a helmet that gets you pumped up for drafting and hairpin turns. The racing outfit, you will enjoy driving more if you're wearing this outfit, guaranteed. A Santa hat, because there has to be a Santa hat, of course. Another red hat, beloved by children. And then a Santa outfit. The only thing that this outfit is missing is a big bag of power-up items for the kids. A saddle view helmet. This one's really cool. Saddle view helmet. How many guys remember what the saddle view was? A memento of forgotten service, and then the saddle view suite. This outfit represents what the future used to look like. Then there's going to be zombie headwear, which is a masterwork of practical effects in a zombie outfit when an outfit crosses the line between distressed and undead. Then there's going to be a harried hat, which is a hat you should not wear until after you thoroughly check it for explosives. And then a harried suit, an outwardly loving gown and interior structure has rotted away and is holding on by a thread. A Rango hat, which is a near-perfect replica of Rango's hat, except for the awesome saw blades and trampoline capability. A Rango suit, which is a humble outfit that does the job effectively, if not glamorously, or efficiently, or smartly, or even not dumbly. A Spewart hat, which a hat you should definitely wash thoroughly before wearing, giving Spewart's hobbies. And then a Spewart suit, which is an outfit that reminds one of the school days of reading and writing, a full-body finger painting. And the very last hat and outfit combo is the topper hat. It's a hat that practically demands to be stacked on top of identical copies of itself and swung dangerously about. And the topper suit, which is a cheap knockoff of a fancy tailor suit, smells of carrots and broken promises. And these are descriptions that are actually inside of the game. So, only Nintendo can come up with stuff like that. And, I mean, I don't like that this stuff is already in the game and locked, but at the same time, this does tell you, one, there's going to be future releases of stuff like hats and outfits, and this tells me that some of this stuff may be in there and being saved for new DLC. So we have not heard that there is going to be any more future DLC past the balloon update they did with Luigi, but to me this means there is more DLC coming, whether it's free, whether it's paid, we don't know. I'll be disappointed if this stuff is paid, considering that these outfits are already in the game, so then that means they're just locked behind a paywall. That would suck, but I'm sure they're tied to some future DLC that I can't wait to see what it is. And I'm all for it. Make me play Mario Odyssey for years to come, Nintendo, with always getting fresh content, kind of like you've done in Splatoon 2. That would make my day, let me tell you. So we're going to get into some other quicker stories here to round out the day. The Switch is back on top in Japan. According to the most recent sales data from last week's sales in Japan. It sold 39,696 units, which is up 393 units from the prior week. But that's not really why it's in the lead. What happened is PlayStation 4, which had a huge leap in sales the past month due to Monster Hunter World, fell to number 2. So it dropped from like almost 50,000 sales last week to 29,392. So really, Switch kind of stayed consistent, and PlayStation 4 just kind of fell off as we get further and further out from when Monster Hunter Worlds launched. The 3DS combined sales all chime in at about 11,236, which would be the number 3 spot on the chart. The top Nintendo games on the chart are Splatoon 2 at the 5 spot with 19.5 thousand sales last week. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at the number 6 spot with 17.2 thousand sales last week. And Breath of the Wild at 7 with 12.2 thousand. And we might as well talk about Odyssey quick because that was at number 8 with 11.6 thousand. And again, I'll have a link in the description so you can go look at the full listing of game sales and unit sales for all platforms. Kind of gauge where you think Switch is in Japan right now. Switch is also creeping close to 4 million in sales in Japan. We're not too far away from that. The next story I want to talk about, just really quick, Amazon Spain. We don't talk about this stuff very often because usually these are just placeholder dates, but this is an interesting thing. Amazon in Spain is listing Mario Tennis Aces for June 22nd. Now, that would make Mario Tennis Aces a summer game rather than a spring game, which it kind of goes against what they hinted at in the recent Nintendo Direct when they announced it. But it is what it is. That wouldn't be too big of a push out. And I'm surprised it's not, listed as coming before E3. Again, whether or not you could believe this Amazon listing is up to you. Normally, when you see an Amazon listing like this, it'll say some arbitrary month like December 31st, 2018, which means absolutely nothing. That's a placeholder date. But we don't know if this is a placeholder date because that's a very specific date. Right now, only Amazon in Spain has that date. We'll see if Amazon in the U.S., Canada, UK, etc. If everyone else updates to this date as well. Nintendo might not be announcing the release date till E3 for all we know. But yeah, I'm excited for Mario Tennis Aces. It is one of my most hyped games so far for Switch in 2018. And the thing is, we've barely seen any of it, and that's how hyped I am just for that single-player mode. And based on who's making it. Hello, Camelot. Anyways, let me see. Our second to last story we're going to talk about quick is that Kirby Star Allies opening cutscene is now out in the wild on Nintendo's YouTube channel. We're going to have a link to it down in the description. For copyright reasons, I can't show you this cutscene. But yeah, just go check it out. It's really, really cool. And I have to say, man, does it make me hyped for Kirby Star Allies next month. I can't wait. I need this game in my hands now. Just right now. And if you would like to play Kirby Star Allies, I have good news for you if you happen to live near a certain Comic-Con. Because tomorrow, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and Kirby Star Allies, and we're talking about Tropical Freeze on Switch, of course, will be playable at Emerald City Comic-Con tomorrow. And they're going to be giving away some Kirby-themed items while you're playing, while supplies last. So that's great. That's awesome. I can't wait. I'm not going to obviously be able to go. Emerald City's not anywhere near where I live in Wisconsin. But, yeah, you guys are going to have a chance to go out there and play those games. Who knows? Maybe you'll get to try out Funky Kong. I know a lot of people are considering buying Tropical Freeze just for Funky Kong. So, let me tell you another reason you should buy Tropical Freeze. If you haven't played it on Wii U, it is the best 2D side-scrolling platformer of all time. Anyways, folks, I'm Nintendo RoboJets from Nintendo Prime, and if you like this video, you know what to do. And if you dislike the video, hit that dislike button. Subscribe for more content. And you know what, folks? I'm going to catch you in the next one. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.